And I got music in 3, 2, 1. Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Questlog, the weekly show about video games old and new. My name is Tyler Everett. This is episode 22? 22, right? We went over this before the show.
Oh, no one knows.
No one knows. We've been having lots of technical difficulties tonight.
Let's call it 22.
It's 22. 22 is close enough. I keep losing both of my displays while we're doing this, so that's cool. I'm sure it's fine. I don't have a screen right now. I'm going blank. Anyway, Brian Maxwell, how's it going, man?
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Sick as an animal all day.
Yeah, that's always fun. Well, I'm glad that you're here. I'm hoping the Afrin is doing its job.
Yeah, yep. Sponsor us, Afrin.
We'll never stop trying for those sponsors. Oh man, Luke Phillips, you're here too.
Hey, yeah,
going,
I'm here.
I'm switching the order up. I'm going blind, so I'm just switching the order up.
I'm not ready for this. Put me on the spot here.
Well, we'll see if anything else switches with you a little bit later here when we get into our main opening topic here. Kat Maxwell, thank you for being here as well.
How's it going?
Oh, just dandy. As soon as I'm trying to just fumble my way through this. I think we're getting back to stable here. But yeah, things are great.
We don't need anything else going on tonight, but
No. We'll get through it. It'll be fine. And joining us once again, Vito Labelarde. How's it going, man?
It is going fantastic. Also, sick Switch pun early on in the podcast already. You're on point. Keep up the good work.
I'm gonna do my best. We'll see how many more of those we can dig up here throughout the rest of the show.
There's gonna be ample opportunity for that tonight.
Deal. Sounds good. Well, it's a new console launch week, guys. How exciting is that? I didn't think I was going to get one. I was sure that they were all sold out, that pre-orders were going to be all that they were going to ship. I was all mad at Nintendo. I was ready to get my pitchfork out. And then news broke like 2 days before launch that a bunch of different places were going to have stock available for walk-in customers for midnight launches, that sort of thing. And I was able to snag one from Best Buy. And it's awesome. And we convinced Luke to do it too.
Yeah, I didn't even know I wanted one until like 8:15 p.m. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll go up to a Best Buy at 9 o'clock and wait till 12 and get home at 1 and be up for work at 5:30. That sounds lovely.
It's easy to not want one when there's not one available to you.
Yeah.
Dangling one in front of you is a little different.
Yeah, it's different.
It's that whole parable of the fox and the grapes, right? I keep hearing that on the news lately. It's fox wants the grapes, but they're behind a fence and can't get to them, so the grapes must be sour. Yeah. You don't need them anyway. They taste bad. Yeah, it's these are some sweet grapes, dude. This console's pretty great. Vito, you picked one up too, of course, being our resident Nintendo fanboy here. What do you think of it so far?
So far, the console, I haven't dug in too deep, other than the launch title, Zelda, which I think we're going to get into later. But I dig the Pro Controller. I'm glad I got that because I tried to dink around with the Joy-Con grip, and I didn't enjoy that at all. I haven't messed around too much with the main, I guess, interface where you got the Joy-Con slid onto the screen. I haven't even played that at all. It stayed docked completely so far. But everything I have tried has been pretty cool. I dig it. I like the idea of what it could be. And we'll see once more content gets added for it and there's a little bit more that I can do with it. I'll be able to get really, really stoked about it or less stoked. So
I surprisingly actually kind of like the Joy-Con controller. I didn't get the Pro because it's $80 freaking.
Yeah, unreal.
It's
a
not cheap.
ridiculous price.
I think it's 70, but yeah.
Okay, still, that's an insane amount of money for a single controller. But the construction
is.
of like how you slide the two pieces in together, I thought it was pretty awesome. That feels really solid.
Yeah, the whole console is very well made. It doesn't feel cheap. It doesn't feel like
Dock feels a bit cheap.
it's a
little
piece of
flimsy.
plastic.
And
That
I don't like how the cables go into the side of the dock instead of just coming out the back.
Okay, I like that though.
yeah, me too.
Really?
I like so it kind of wrangles the spaghetti coming out of the back and shoots it off to the side, and it doesn't look awesome, but it was a little bit more I guess convenient to set up for me. I didn't have any issues with that. I thought it was pretty cool. And if anything's gonna be flimsy, it might as well be the dock because
Yeah, that's the best part to be flimsy. If a piece has to be, but
And there is a cutout, so you can pull them out straight back if you need to, but it's not. I don't know. It gives the cable some room to bend there at a 90 instead of.
yeah, I just don't like how it
Straight
comes
to back.
out like that.
It's my understanding you can use the classic controller with the PC. You can sync it with your PC if you got Bluetooth.
Really
Oh, really?
Lifestyle benefits.
interesting. Did not know that.
that
Yeah,
is news to me, and that's pretty freaking awesome to be honest with you. Maybe
Well,
that makes it worth the 70 then.
Looks like a nice controller.
I want.
It feels really good. It feels really good. The Pro that came with the Wii U and the Wii, really chintzy and flimsy and plastic. And yeah, there you go, Tyler. It's your basic controller. It doesn't really reinvent any wheels, but you don't really need to.
I'll tell you a few things here I was surprised about the Pro controller. So, well, in controllers in general. One, being an Xbox and I guess just Xbox 360 controller guy for the past however long, I'm very used to A, being at the bottom, Y being at the top, and X and B being on left and right,
Oh, yeah.
respectively. So on the Nintendo Pro controller, it is the way it was on like a Super Nintendo controller, where you have B at the bottom, X at the top, A on the right, Y on the left. And every time that I'm playing Legend of Zelda and it's telling me to press X, I keep hitting the left.
Yeah.
The left
Oh yeah, I do that
thumb
all the
button there.
time.
Yeah, it's messing me up something fierce.
X is an important button in Zelda.
Yeah, and so I mean, they use B for cancel, just like most Xbox games do, but it's in a completely different position. So it's taking. I have to remap my whole control scheme that's been wired into my brain for the last 15, 20 years. It's been difficult. But
You'll get there.
But I'm surprised the controller has the motion control stuff built into it that's in the Joy-Cons. Like there's times in Zelda where you can aim by tilting the controller, and that works with the Pro controller too. I was not expecting that. It has a home button that lets you pop back out into the main interface at any time, and it keeps your game running exactly where it was. I know that's kind of a common thing with most modern consoles now, but it's still nice that it works so well with the Switch. There's a share button that can take screenshots and post them to Twitter or Facebook right from the console.
I did that earlier today. It's one of the things I tested out,
Me too.
and it worked actually really flawlessly.
You got a really nice shot of that first panoramic once you step out.
I was trying to tag you in it, Tyler, but it doesn't work to tag people in that through the interface.
That's weird.
Yeah,
So you probably just have to like comment Tyler's name on the comments or something like that.
I have to go back into it on my phone or PC and do it that way, which is a little disappointing. I thought they would tie in directly with Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Now it doesn't do any kind of tagging through fens.
Noobs.
As far as bad stuff to say about it, it's bare bones. There's nothing else to do on this but play whatever video game you bought.
Yep,
I
there's
mean,
nothing.
There's not a web browser on it. There's not any kind of media apps at all. There's the integration with Twitter and Facebook and stuff. That's all just part of the sharing for the screenshots. So when you press that button on your controller, that's what happens, and that's it.
Now, what's funny about that, though, is it really looks like, for the most part, it's showing the Facebook website in a browser.
Right.
just like without any forward, back, home buttons on it.
Right.
So there has to be like a built-in browser for it, just with limited functionality right now.
Yeah, you would think so. I don't know if maybe all that they're planning on unlocking later, or
I'm
Yeah, that's
expecting
gotta be
a
something.
lot of updates coming out for this.
It's got to be something you can update. Yeah, for sure.
it's
Because I dug through like the menu when like, there's like what 6 buttons at the bottom of the main home screen,
Mhm.
and none of them. They have the eShop, which has 7 things. Then I don't know. I don't want to get.
I didn't even look what's in there.
It's just the next 6 next 6 titles that are either out or coming out, and there's 1 maybe 2 that is semi interesting so far.
Shovel
But I'm
Knight.
sure that. Yeah, Shovel Knight's already in there.
Shovel
$10.
Knight.
Goodbye. That's a good buy for $10.
$10 is just the one campaign, though, isn't it? Isn't it just the latest expansion? I think.
No,
they have
I thought the latest expansion was the it's called Treasure Trove, I think, and that one's
It's like a
like
timed
25.
Treasure Trove is 25, and it includes 3. It gives you the base game, which is now called like Shovel of Hope, I think. It gives you the Plague of Shadows, I think is what it's called, and then there's a new one that just came out, involving death or a reaper or some kind of, I can't remember what that one's called, but there's 3 that are included with that, and I think you get 2 more if you buy the Treasure Trove. But then they also sell just the most. I think they're selling them all piecemeal now too for $10 a piece. So I think that's how that's supposed to work. I was looking into it.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Today I learned.
Exclusive.
What's that, Brian?
I think the newest one is a timed exclusive for the Switch.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
No.
It's interesting. I'm not a huge fan of that, even though I now have the console that it's an exclusive for. I would rather that just be available to everybody. But
Speaking of console, Tyler, talk about your the case behind your shoulder there.
I picked up a little bundle, a bundle. I've got a carrying case for the console itself. It has spots for all of your games and your Joy-Cons and the console itself. It's got the sweet Zelda logo on the back.
Is that for when you and Karen are going out to a party with all your friends?
Yeah, when I want to head up to somebody's rooftop terrace party and, get my Joy-Cons out. Let's see. I guess I can show
It does
this.
look pretty awesome though.
It comes with a little caps for your thumbsticks, little blue ones. Put those right up there.
Oh, nice.
Fancy.
Joy-Con armor, they call it. It's little blue covers for the back. You can't. The camera's not gonna pick it up, but it has like the Sheikah rune design on the back from Zelda. It comes with a screen protector, all that kind of stuff, and a pair of headphones. So one of the things I really love about this, so right now the way I have it set up is I have my dock going right to my monitor. I have an HDMI splitter, so I guess technically it goes to that first, and my PC. As soon as I dock the Switch, my monitor switches over to that, and my second monitor still runs my PC, so I can have stuff going on the second screen, have the Switch on my big monitor, pop my Pro Controller up, and it's all seamless. And then as soon as I take the Switch out of the dock, game picks up exactly where I left off. Joy-Cons are already on it. I can play mobile. It's really
Speaking
slick.
of that docking,
Yeah.
you notice how just easy it docks too?
Yeah, it has like a
Like-
spring-loaded thing in the bottom. So
Yeah.
once you have it in place, then it pushes down, and the connector kind of is revealed, and it goes into it. It's real slick.
I thought for sure I have to put it in there and move to one side, try to press it down, move to the other side, try to press it down, but it literally just slides in flawlessly the perfect time every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm real impressed with the hardware. It's all real smooth.
How do you like because I saw you've got your Joy-Cons on the tablet or whatever they want to call it.
Yeah.
How do you like playing on that versus playing with the Pro on your monitor?
Well, I don't do it when I don't use the Joy-Cons when I'm playing on the monitor. I use the Pro Controller pretty much exclusively then. I don't love the Joy-Cons. My hands don't fit it super well, but when it's in its tablet mode, it's not bad. The problem with the size of the screen is that if you're using it mobile, the idea of putting it on a kickstand and then like sitting back with a controller, it doesn't really work. At least for a game like Zelda, if you're sitting away from the screen at all, it's too small to really pick up any of the details. So I tried that today. I tried just setting it on a table and like, grab my Pro controller and trying to play it that way. And after about 5 minutes, I was like, nah, I can't even see what I'm picking up. I can't read anything on the screen. I just slapped the Joy-Cons back on it and, held it right about, I don't know, a foot or so from my face. It seems about the right distance. But yeah, that part of it is great. Like, I didn't think I would use that nearly as much as I am, and there's lots of times where I'll be playing at my desk here and then decide like, oh, I can run upstairs and take this with me and just start a little laundry or do whatever, and I don't have to pause anything. I can just keep on trucking. It's pretty good.
I was telling a few people at work about the console and how I bought it last night, and my boss was like, "Oh, dude, like, let me know how it is. That's really exciting. I'm glad you got it." I'm like, I could literally just bring it in Monday.
Yeah.
I'll take it out of the dock and just bring it in, and you can check it out. He's like, "That's crazy. I never thought about that." Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
And honestly, I don't know if maybe I can get a shot of it without the Joy-Cons on it. When you take the Joy-Cons off, it's tiny. Like, it's not a big screen. I was able to throw it in my pocket. Like, I took the Joy-Cons off, put the two Joy-Cons in one pocket, put the system in the other, and like, here's my iPhone 7 Plus, and here is the Switch without the Joy-Cons on it. So it's pretty comparable. I don't know. As far as portability goes, it definitely is a portable system. And it honestly feels like it's first and foremost a portable, not a home system. I don't know. That's how I've been using it more over the past day.
I have been so far the exact opposite. I'm doing nothing but vegging on my bed, just staring into my 55-inch, soaking it all in.
Yeah, and the cool thing is, Vito, when you're ready to, well, if you're already in your bed, then because it doesn't get much better than that. But that was something that I did last night. I was getting real tired, and I thought, I don't want to be sitting at my desk anymore, but I don't necessarily want to stop playing Zelda. So I'll just pop this thing out of the dock and take it off to bed and pop the headphones in, and got another half an hour or so before the sleep finally took me. And
Tyler, question.
Yes.
How many times have you taken it to the bathroom?
Yes.
Yes. All of the times, Luke. All of the times.
Just that seamless gameplay. There was no pausing
Exactly.
when you have to go.
Yeah, when you gotta go, when nature calls. All games are pooping games now, guys. This is the future.
Finally.
Finally, we have arrived.
What a time to be alive.
I've got to add my one little veto piece of this release into it. I'm assuming that none of you happened to purchase any of the 5 amiibos that were released with the console and/or game.
No.
I did not purchase any amiibos, and I have a reason.
Let me talk to you about them real quick here.
Okay. Please do.
So, they came. The release came with a Archer Link, a Rider Link, a Bokoblin amiibo, and then a rather large, by far the largest amiibo so far. It's the Guardian. If you're not familiar with the game, then you won't know what that is. But it basically is like a big, 6-armed, as they say in the game, like what they call it, an upside-down vase or something like that. It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
But they are real pretty, real good looking. Already some of my favorite amiibos so far. So
that's the
nice
first
little twist.
posable one, isn't it? I think
the
Guardian.
The Guardian.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
You can make
It's
the arms
huge,
pretty
too.
much do whatever they want. It's massive. Yes.
That's exciting. The thing that turned me on, I actually considered picking up the Wolf Link amiibo, but I heard that in order to actually get the functionality of that, you have to have played the Twilight Princess HD on the Wii U or the Wii.
Right.
And yeah, I haven't done that, so that would be a big waste for me.
I disagree. It wouldn't be a waste because it is like the coolest looking amiibo that's been released so far, in my opinion.
But it's also the only one that actually does anything cool in game. It makes a Wolf Link companion show up and follow you around. Like, that's pretty
True.
neat.
I haven't done that yet, but
Got to get your
What's
dog
on the shelf behind you?
on the shelf behind me.
Yes, I see what looks like a statue of some kind on the shelf behind you.
Sure. That it would be Molag Bal, the Daedric Lord of something destruction.
There's
I'm
one right there as well.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Carry on.
Are you trying to make the point that I would have another little statue for my shelf?
Does it have any effects in Skyrim when you play?
No. And that wasn't from Skyrim.
boom wrecked.
That was from the Elder Scrolls Online special edition.
thing.
That came with several in-game bonuses that were exclusive to that edition. The
Would it be fair to say
statue
that
happened
you
to
got-
be.
Would it be fair to say you've gotten more enjoyment out of the statue than you have the game?
You would be very correct.
He's
in
not
saying
wrong.
that, yes. Yeah. I definitely have gotten more mileage out of it.
Yeah, go buy the amiibo, Tyler.
Well, we'll get into the nitty-gritty details of Zelda in a bit here, but first, I would like to talk about some of the other games that Kat and Brian have been playing because they don't have a Nintendo Switch.
Hey, we just got a PS4, so
Yes, exactly, and that's, celebrate diversity.
I was gonna buy one of those, either PS4 or the Switch, and I just saw the Zelda gameplay and went for that.
Side note, this is just such a cool week for gaming. You guys picked up a PS4 and got a bunch of great titles for that. We've had good announcements just all over the place. The Switch has been a pretty big success so far. Like, this is uncharacteristic for a random week in March.
The PC only guy bought a console.
Right, exactly. That's
The last console I had was a PS2, strictly for Guitar Hero.
yeah.
Wow.
Shout out to Witwix for streaming
Yes.
Breath of the Wild all day, because I'm pretty sure that's what actually sold you, Luke.
Yeah. Witwix on Twitch got Switch early and got to play Breath of the Wild a day early, and I watched it and completely sold it to me. So shout out to him, shout out to Nintendo for providing that. So
That's cool.
check out his channel; he's awesome and hilarious.
Well,
Links in the show
Brian,
notes.
Brian, we've talked about Crypt of the Necrodancer before on the show. You jump back into that, huh?
Yeah, it's a game that I pick up and dabble with very briefly every couple of months or so. Like once I realized I was going to be getting a Horizon, and like I'd also picked up Final Fantasy 15. I didn't want to get into anything too deep, so I wanted a nice little time waster game that I can play in quick bursts. Necrodancer is a perfect one of those.
It's a absolute joy to listen to and watch. Like, I watched you stream it, I think, a little bit, or maybe
Yep.
I just watched this video. I can't remember, but there's a point where you're going through this dungeon and it's a roguelike, right? That's the basic premise of it. Is it's
Yeah,
a roguelike
yeah.
dungeon crawler kind of thing. Here it is. You get to the shopkeeper, and as soon as you enter his room, he like harmonizes and he starts vocalizing with the song. It's so good.
And like the video doesn't do it justice without the sound, because there's music playing and the enemies move with the beat, and you have to try to move with the beat too.
Yeah,
And,
I have
that's,
the sound should come through on the stream and the recording. I've got it going just kind of quietly here, but
that's where the challenge comes in. A lot of it is all the enemies have a pattern, and you have to kind of keep in your head like when they're going to move and where they're going to move, but you have to keep moving too. So you've got to balance that. If it were just turn-based and slow, it would be easy, but you got to keep going, and they're going to keep going. So, and the music's really, really good.
so once you stop moving, you lose your coin multiplier, right? That's
Yep.
what happens.
Yeah, so you
Okay.
don't die or lose health or anything. It's just money's important in the game because you've got to buy gear, and
Do the songs change
the songs change per level. Yep.
per level? But you'll always have the same songs per level.
Yeah, this is excellent game. It's easy to pick up and put down.
He's gonna make me play it soon.
Yeah, it's one that I'll see if I can snag out of your Steam library, because it's, as soon as I heard the premise for it, it sounded immediately like something I'd be way into. A rhythm dungeon crawling roguelike with disco tiles all over the floor. Yeah, sign me up. Sounds
Yeah,
perfect.
as soon as I heard the name, I was sold.
Yeah, the name's real clever.
All right. Pre-order.
Has a very Zelda-esque thing going on with the graphics and the way the dungeons are laid out and stuff. Like there's
Yeah, it's got like a 16-bit kind of look to it.
good
Diamond's
stuff.
Easy. Those let you unlock upgrades for future games. You can unlock new classes. The upgrades give you better gear in the chests. So you are making incremental upgrades between games depending on how well you do.
Nice. Is it so? It's permadeath. Once you die, you're done. Game over. Start fresh.
Yep, I've unlocked a couple of characters. I unlocked her uncle. I think his name is Eli. He can't use weapons, but he has an infinite amount of bombs, and he can like kick the bombs at the enemies. So you drop bombs and boot them across the screen. And that's all he can do for offense.
So Bomberman?
Yeah, basically, it's interesting.
Kind of cool.
That's cool.
An excellent game, and it's cheap these days. So
And something you can easily just pick up and put down. Not a whole lot of involvement. There's no story here that you're worried about. It's just a fun little
just
game.
hop, kill stuff.
It's cool. Cool stuff. All right, let's jump to the real meat and potatoes of your week here. You picked up Horizon Zero Dawn, which is the game that I've been drooling over since I saw the first trailer for it.
Yep, and that was one of the clinchers for why I chose to get a PS4. I've got some Zelda envy right now, but I think long term, I think this is better. I think this is better for me.
God, it's amazing.
My wife played it. Jasmine.
Yeah, I know you.
Gorgeous looking game.
Yeah, and like, people are making a lot of comparisons to Zelda right now. Obviously, it's because like they're both open world action adventure games where you've got someone with a bow, running around doing missions and scavenging. And this is not my kind of game. This sort of open world. There are dinosaur robots that you're fighting. And this, I don't know, like far in the future where all the technology has been lost. Technology is kind of inseparable from magic in that way. Like, I haven't gotten to the part where they tell you why all the animals are like fucked with machines yet, but there are, horses and dinosaurs that have like robot parts on them, and they hunt and kill the people in the game, so people are all like really afraid of technology. But your chick, when she's a little girl, tumbles down this cave and finds these ruins and finds this chip that she sort of like sticks on her ear, and then it lets you have this like overlay where you can sort of scout the enemies and see their weaknesses, and you can shoot parts off of the enemies and pick them up and use them to craft things.
I don't think they're real animals. They're all robots. They're not,
Yeah, you may be right.
because you don't get meat and stuff off of them. They're not. They're actual.
They're
like
just-
they're all robots.
There's
Like,
animal-shaped robots. Yeah, because there are animals in the game too. There are
Yeah.
turkeys and boar.
that's my favorite thing to do right now is hunting.
Hunting
I
animals.
love the hunting animals.
Sorry, Mike.
Yeah.
But so that you mentioned that it's kind of like overlay. That's that grid style, like wireframe mesh that goes over when
Yep.
Yep.
I'm watching
That
some of
lets
the
you
gameplay.
see the enemies.
You can see them in the distance. Like you can see them through mountains. So it's easier to like sneak up on things. One of my favorite things that you can see is when you're collecting herbs and twigs, and you can craft your own arrows. You can craft potions. You can craft different upgrades for you have separate pouches for carrying separate things. You have a weapon pouch, you have an armor pouch, you've got a resource pouch, and you upgrade these so you can hold more. That I find fascinating because you're essentially this character. You have to like upgrade everything. You have to do all the survival stuff that you'd have to do on your own, which is neat.
The way the interface and everything is laid out, Luke, I don't know if you're watching the stream, but it looks very much like Far Cry 3 or 4.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. It's very, very similar to Far Cry.
And that's a good thing. Like I love the way that they handled those systems in that game.
I've never played that game, so I've heard some complaints that maybe it's a little bit too close to the open world formula that that game uses, but I've never played it. So
I don't understand. Like, there's some tropes, and there's definitely some open world tropes that Ubisoft has kind of coined, like the whole find a tower, climb it, and unlock part of your map that way. It's a staple of every open world game, and it's because it works. I don't know. There's not a whole lot of iteration you can do on that idea.
This has dinosaurs called tall striders that have these big old bony spines and plates, and you like jump on them and climb up their backs, and that's your tower.
Yep.
You can see the combat here. I'm kind of hiding in the bushes because it's like 3 or 4 enemies, and
when they're blue, they don't see you, and when they turn yellow, that means they've spotted you, and once they're red, when they're lit up red, that means they are attacking you. They're on you.
They're openly hostile. So
yeah,
Brian, go ahead.
Really satisfying. Like I do a lot of sneaking, and I try to take them out from range as much as I can, or I lure them to the bushes and
I'm the opposite.
and
I just
stab them.
go after them.
If I fuck up my shot and I, like if I miss, or if I just wing them, I'm in trouble. But it's not like, oh, you missed, you're dead, you better reload. Like, like it just gets tougher, which I like.
What's the death penalty like?
I don't think you lose anything. I think it just takes you to your last quick save. I've died during the main story missions a couple of times, which that's my least favorite part of the game, which is kind of like Grand Theft Auto always was. I love the open world shit where you're just running from place to place and deciding what you want to do. But when it's got the story missions where it's like, all right, you're in this, like this situation where you've got 5 guys over there on the hill shooting at you, and there's a person you've got to protect behind you, and go, and you died. Okay, reload it, start it again. Like I
do the exact same sequence over and over and over again. Yeah.
That said, I like the story in this game. I'm interested in the story and the characters, which is unusual for me, but they've made a compelling world and a compelling character to follow. I'm curious. Like, she's an outcast, from her tribe, which means people in her tribe aren't supposed to talk to her at all.
They're shunned.
Basically, yeah. So when they see you, they're not supposed to talk to you, but they might throw rocks at you or be like, "Oh, you're a piece of shit. Get away from the gate. You don't belong."
Wow.
And she doesn't know why.
We don't know.
We don't know why. We don't know why there are mechanical beasts. So I think the game's gonna
a lot of
answer all.
mysteries. So if you had to nail it down to like a couple things, like you mentioned, you can see that this is not necessarily a Brian game on the face of it. So what's keeping you playing? What's keeping your interest in this thing?
It's got a lot of stuff to do. Like I like the open world gameplay, and that's just kind of like free roaming, and I've got a map full of different icons to go investigate or little side quests to do.
And the thing with that too, they've set it up for different preferred play styles because I have waypoints set up for myself so I can follow the quests easier. I don't like running around and getting lost. And there's waypoints, and then there was something else that you could click, you could have or not have depending on how you like to play the game.
Like I said, it's not my kind of game, but it seems like a really, really well-made one of these kind of games, and it's adjacent
totally
enough to what I like to get into it.
Oh, this is totally.
I mean, it's a silly comparison, but it feels a little bit like the WoW gameplay, just not multiplayer.
Hmm.
Where it's just a huge world to explore and quests to get, and you can engage with the storyline or ignore it.
The
Yeah.
side quests are fun so far.
Hmm.
That's always been my favorite part of open world games too, is just being able to kind of do what you want at your own pace and let the game, like you playing the game become your story of it. You know, you don't necessarily have to do the main quest to get some kind of a cool story to tell.
Something else to note is you choose your reactions to situations. So Brian's character may be harsher. Like, I've been choosing more of the compassionate. Come on,
What are
you're
you
not.
trying to say? No, there's a aggressive response, a compassionate response, or a like intelligent response to most situations. Like there's one early in the game when you're a little girl where this kid throws a rock and hits you, and you can either
Throw it
choose to
back,
whip it back at him,
hit it out of his hand,
or do
just
the
drop it.
yeah.
Just drop the rock. I chose to drop the rock because I want to be compassionate and nice. And
I hit it out of his hand. Wasn't gonna hurt him, but I wanted to know, he should not pursue this.
So, side note, how cool is it that they just decided to make the main character of this game this badass chick who isn't like
I approve.
she's amazing.
She's
Oh, look at the titties on her. Look at that armor. It's
Right.
She's just a person.
I'm kind of biased on that because there's not enough like badass females. It's all like, oh, look at my skanky armor and look at how awesome I can look. But this is, I mean, she's absolutely badass.
She's just cool. Yeah, I was telling Brian, like, I didn't even think about that at first when I first saw this game. I just like, wow, this looks really cool. The gameplay's cool. That looks like a cool character. And it dawned on me later why. I was like, oh, because I don't feel like I'm being like having meat flashed in front of my face, like I felt like, oh, I can play this game without being embarrassed to see somebody, yeah. And I compared it to the latest Tomb Raider, like what they did with the latest Lara Croft revision. I'm not embarrassed to say I'm playing Tomb Raider because it's not just somebody wearing booty shorts and like it's a character that is just cool on their own without having to be completely overly sexualized. So,
have you picked up new outfits yet?
Yeah, I got the sneaky one.
How do you? I haven't gotten to the point where I can get new outfits or upgrade them yet.
It'll be obvious when it's time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. The stream that we're watching here is off of the computer. Like I'm streaming it to the computer.
Oh, it's
so it doesn't look as good as it does on the TV. This is like everything's kind of washed out in the video here, but like you see it on the TV, it looks really vibrant.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's probably only a 720p resolution or something, but yeah, it still looks good. I like these red. I don't know if it's grass or wheat or something,
it's
but
like tall grass.
Yeah, it's
she blends
in. She blends in real well with it. That's pretty cool.
That's going to be hidden.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I had one attack right when I was in there, which was
I haven't had that.
Excuse me. Well, let's switch it over to another PS4 game that you guys have been sharing. Final Fantasy 15.
Yep, I got into that this week pretty heavily. It's probably going to be my favorite Final Fantasy game, which isn't saying a whole lot because as much as I like Japanese RPGs, I've never had a Final Fantasy game work for me completely. Usually there's one or two neat things they do really well that draw me in, and then one or two things they do that just ruin it for me. And this one's not perfect either, but it's such a big departure for an RPG. Like, it's just 4 guys on a road trip.
Yeah.
And it's this modern setting where they've got cell phones and cars and all that stuff, but it all seems to work.
Then last week we were watching a little gameplay clip where Kat finished killing something and then immediately hopped on her cell phone to talk about it or whatever.
Yep, gotta tweet it.
But it looks like it's all
And-
done really well, and it looks fun. Like it just looks like a fun game.
Yep, it's got some similarities. With the last game in that there's a map that's got lots of icons and lots of stuff to hunt down and track down, and I can just ignore the main quest and just go fart around on the map, which I usually enjoy doing. It does have the cognitive dissonance a little bit, where there's major story shit happening, major shit's going down, but they're like, fuck it, we're gonna go hunt this thing, and then we're gonna go camp out, and what are we making tonight? Like,
Time to go
Have some
fishing.
beers around the campfire.
right. Like, I just got to a point in the story where things just got serious, but the tone is still pretty light, which I'm glad the tone's light, but it breaks the immersion a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you watch the movie yet?
What's that?
Did you watch the movie?
Mm-mm.
No.
Kingsglaive.
Time when my wife and I are both here and awake.
You know what the game I've been playing most this week, guys?
What's that?
Work your butt off. So I didn't even touch Final Fantasy 15 this week. That's how. And
Yeah.
I got like.
Oh, is that one on Steam? I gotta pick that one up.
Don't.
It is. It is not. It
It's
is not
boring.
yet.
Yeah, I think you're in a perfect place to watch the movie right now.
As far as like
In
the progression
part of
of
the
story.
storyline. Yeah, it'll sync up really well.
I think I just got past the point where the movie ends,
Yes.
I want to say.
Yep.
Yeah, like this one does some good stuff. Like when you finish a dungeon, it asks if you want to go right to the entrance, which is wonderful, because I've played too many RPGs where you've got to just hike your ass back,
Mhm.
backtrack through the whole dungeon and get back to the entrance.
Walk
Oh,
past
that
all the
sucks.
corpses of the fallen. Yeah.
You can teleport back to your car from the map, which doesn't make sense, and I don't care. It's convenient, and
That's probably why they did it.
yeah,
They
like,
want easier gameplay.
right.
Because you can park, like, there was one point, like, I wanted to specifically go to this area, and it made me park the car where I had to run a long way to get there. So it was probably one of the mechanisms why.
I'm not crazy about the combat. It's real time, and you've got 4 people, and there's usually multiple enemies. Combat gets messy and chaotic real fast. It might just be my own personal preference, but it's impossible to keep track of what's going on when you've got, 10 people participating, and it's a 3D environment. I just kind of focus on my dude and pick one target at a time. The combat.
So it's not turn-based like past Final Fantasies then?
No.
No, not at
No,
all.
and they kind of stopped being turn-based. I think Final Fantasy X-2 was real time. I know it was because that's what ruined it for me. Final Fantasy 12 was real time, and that one was decent. Not sure about the others.
Well, it's
Now,
I
Brian linked a video this morning, I think it was, for a tech demo, wasn't it, Brian?
Yeah, Final
PC.
Fantasy 15 PC. Yep,
Yeah.
just a demo, tech demo.
Are those all the recipes you have?
Yeah,
So-
look at my recipe.
It sounds like
Right.
at least the engine itself is going to be, we know it's compatible. So hopefully they'll work on porting that over, and maybe by the end of the year or early 2018 it'll be on PC.
Yeah, I'm real happy with it so far, and I don't know. I love the games. The buddies on a road trip vibe. Like when you save, everyone's sitting around a campfire
Mhm.
and chairs, eating and shooting
In
the
their
shit.
Coleman chairs.
Is it?
Yeah,
Or
but
Yes, there's
the tent
lots
said
of branding
Coleman,
that
too.
they just threw in there.
sponsor us.
thanks, Sony.
Yep.
Games ain't cheap. I hadn't noticed, so
Oh, yeah, the tent said Coleman, and I chuckled.
Your brain noticed.
Yep. Well, that's cool. You think you'll finish this one?
yeah, I think so.
He has to finish Night in the Woods first.
I
Do
have
you guys
homework.
do you want to talk about Night in the Woods, Cat? Because I want to hear about Night in the Woods.
I can't. Okay, I'll just be careful not to give any
Yeah, don't
spoilers.
spoil it.
Yeah.
Well, I finished it. I can't tell you how many hours I have on it because I didn't actually look at my log. But we've talked about. Did we talk about the nightmares last time?
I don't think so. Last time we talked last week, you said that there hasn't really been anything dark yet that's happened. You said that I think they found like a severed arm or something, but like you said that it was pretty much you were waiting for that conflict really to show.
It got dark. It got dark.
All right.
Yeah.
And poor May, like you feel for this character. She's not well, and she knows it. She doesn't know what to say to people. Yeah, she's a thief. That's fun. She steals things. I do have to say, the worst part of this game for me is the mini games. If the mini games didn't exist, this game would be 10 times better. But that's because the mini games that are there are not my strong suits. Button pushing in a certain, like the Guitar Hero style.
They're usually brief, though.
Yeah, they're very brief. So thankfully, it's a lot of walking, a lot of exploring. The dreams, I don't know if you've gotten there yet, but the dreams, you have to solve a few things within your dreams as well. And they become very dark nightmares, and they make absolutely no sense. Even after finishing the game, the dreams really don't make sense, but that's why you and Brian have to play the game so we can discuss what the heck I saw.
Do a spoiler cast on it, sure.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it so far.
It was fascinating because, I mean, she's only 19. You do find out, there are a lot of questions that are answered. There are a lot of stuff I'm going WTF because it makes no sense. But the friendship she forges, I don't know. At the beginning, was she an alligator or crocodile bee? Was a childhood friend, and they really didn't get along. Well, they end up, okay. And I think you get to choose which one you nourish more, though, as far as the friendships.
I think so. Yeah. You could probably play it through a second time and
see if
spend
it
time
makes
with
a
the other
difference.
person. I don't think it would change the story, but you would get to see Greg's story instead of B's,
Yeah.
probably. And I don't know, like
Greg annoyed me, though. He was like that hyper, like, he's on speed because kind of friend.
he's silly and excitable. Yeah.
Yeah, and he has he has Angus, so.
Yeah. Like I'm enjoying the dialogue in the game, though. It's pretty much all talking.
You
It
really
feels real.
It does feel real. I mean, there's so much stuff. Just
And they're not afraid to be undramatic, which which I appreciate because it feels like real talk a lot of the time.
it gives you choices, like who you want to hang out with. Like if you want to hang out with Greg, like Greg will say like, "Hey, what do you want to do?" And you can choose, "Hey, let's hang out," or "Hey, I'm gonna walk around town," and then you can go choose to go do something else.
This is Greg here on the stream. He works at the Snack Falcon.
Yep. They used
He's
to have
excited.
the
He's
food
definitely
donkey.
excited. The food donkey. That's right.
That's what it was called, food donkey.
Is it the Ham Panther? I think
The
that's the other
Ham
one.
Panther.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, they have some awesome names.
real good names.
Yeah. I like her name, May Borowski.
I know you haven't seen it, but the movie Ghost World, like playing this game reminds me of the movie Ghost World completely.
Yeah.
So if anyone who happens to be listening has seen it,
Oh,
there you go.
this is yours, right?
Yeah, this is
Okay,
mine.
thank God.
That's cool.
Band practice part of the game.
Brian probably got good, but like anytime I did band practice, I got very unhappy looks and speech.
Yeah, I did okay. The old Guitar Hero instincts kicked in.
One thing that's fascinating in the book is she carries a diary of drawings throughout the experience, and I have some blank pages.
Yeah, I feel like
So
every
I
blank page
wonder
is a
if
thing
I
I missed.
exactly. So I
Yeah.
want to go back through and see what I missed, because now that I know how the ending works, there's things I want to go through the game and look for and see if I can decipher who these people are that I should have been looking for the whole time.
Oh wow, you're not joking. It's straight up Guitar Hero. That's
Yeah.
funny. Well, that's cool that there's some replayability to it, and
And you do play, like, you learn a couple different songs. Like you don't play the same song every time you do band practice, which is kind of funny. Like you play different music. but there's a kind of almost like an end of the world vibe towards the end, which
Yeah,
you know,
it feels like it's kind of blending like the mundane everyday life stuff with some supernatural things coming down the line.
mhm.
They're singing a song called "Let's Die Anywhere Else." It sounds like it's pretty good.
It's small town, man.
I just watched Scott Pilgrim versus the World again today, and for some reason, this is reminding me a little bit of that. Only with animals instead of Canadians, but that's real good. Looks fun.
Is there much difference? Let's be honest.
There it is. I was waiting to see who would say
It
it.
was a good setup. You're welcome.
Cha-ching.
I
I
would
love
love to
Canada.
discuss this game in depth though, so you boys have homework to do. Put Zelda down for a minute. This will be quicker to finish, and then we can talk about it.
Cat,
Oh,
cat. You said the Z word. You know what that means.
you've
Dun,
tough
dun,
sell there.
unlocked it.
ba-da-da-da-da. All right, guys. Who wants to talk about their experience in Hyrule first?
I'll let Vito go first.
Guess, yeah.
Because Nintendo.
Guess first. Vito, how has Breath of the Wild been treating you?
Oh boy, it's been awesome so far. I
Let's
really
put a
wasn't
little
knowing.
Time out. Let's make sure we don't do any big spoilers or anything. Not that I don't know if any of us have gotten to any huge ones yet, but
No.
I'm only
for
a few
anyone
hours
listening.
in, so whatever you guys have seen already is well beyond me.
yeah.
Right there, there's no spoilers that I even
It's not linear.
correct.
It's
There's
meh.
one tiny thing. There's one tiny thing at the very beginning, but you can kind of see it coming from a mile away if you're familiar with past Zelda games. But and I mean they play into all the same old things that Zelda's been doing for 20 years, but they also added new things like when you go to Kakariko Village, you still got to catch all the cuckoos and all that. But yeah, I avoided every possible video and spoiler that I possibly could for the past, what is it, 6 months now? Maybe not that long, but I wanted to be completely surprised and have like my own experience with no like preconceived thoughts about it and stuff. And the second you walk out of the cave and you see that the whole expanse of the map,
Ah,
I was
such
just-
a good moment.
that was just something that everybody should do. And it was like, wow, you didn't feel like you were playing a game there for a minute. You just kind of felt like you were witnessing something. It was like the coolest moment in a Zelda game since probably like when you get the Master Sword and Link to the Past. That's pretty cool. This is right up there, maybe better.
That whole
The
opening was really cool.
Mhm.
yeah, I agree. It had a real strong open, and honestly, I think we can talk a little bit about how the progression goes. Like, there is not a tutorial in this game.
Oh,
There-
it does not
great.
hold your hand at all.
but there is the only time the game really ropes you off is at the very beginning. You're constrained to what they call an area called the Great Plateau, and basically it's an area of elevated land, a plateau, and if you try to leave, you're going to fall to your death. It's just too big a fall. You don't have the stamina to climb down. So you're kind of roped into this area, and that little area is huge. Like,
Yeah, it's as big as like some other games' entire maps.
Yeah.
yeah, I would say it's bigger than Hyrule Field is in the Ocarina of Time. It takes a long time to traverse it, and
That new for Zelda?
one of the cool that is new for a Zelda game, Cat. Like, all of this is new for a Zelda game, pretty much.
You cook.
You cook.
That's awesome.
You can.
Oh, the cooking's my favorite thing. I freaking love it. And they got this like cool little tune while it's cooking. That I
Yes.
just can't skip through it. I have to listen to the
Yes.
whole thing, and the food like pops out of the pot
Cat,
while it's cooking. It's really cool.
I don't know if we have gameplay of it, but it's almost exactly like in Don't Starve. So what you do is you pull up your inventory, you
I
select,
saw that he put stuff in his hand.
Yeah, it like you see it like showing up in his hands, and he's like, and you
Yeah.
literally carry it
Yep.
over and drop it in a pot, and it cooks. And the recipes
This is
work very
delicious.
similar to it works very similar to Don't Starve in that you take like 2 mushrooms, 2 pieces of fruit, and a spicy pepper, and you'll get a spicy sweet fruit simmer or something.
How much is a Switch?
Yeah, right. There you go. There it is. It didn't take long.
Yeah.
But yeah, it
Guys, I
breaks.
don't need another game system.
But you do.
It's getting just insane reviews, like
I'll
10
go
out of
from-
10, perfect scores all over the place. There's some people saying it's the best video game ever made, let alone
Well,
the best Zelda.
Yeah, like if it's the best, Legend of Zelda game, that puts it pretty high in the running for best
Right.
video.
Yeah.
And a lot of people haven't even gotten through like a dungeon
Yeah,
because there's that much gameplay and they're still already making these big claims, and it's really hard to hate them for it because, man, it's so engrossing. Like I think I'm probably 10% through the game maybe, and I've played it for 8 to 10 hours.
What's the method in the game that lets you pick up things like that block?
You got a magnetic ability, it looks like.
yeah. So the way it works, when you're on the Great Plateau, when you're in the very beginning of the game, you
That's quite
you start off with something called a Sheikah slate, which is a tablet. There's no other way to call it. It's like a Switch. It's like a Wii U gamepad, is what it looks like.
Link's iPhone.
But it's magic. It's a magic one, and what you have to do to get off the Great Plateau is go collect these different abilities. So unlike other Zelda games where you have to go through a dungeon, get the item, use that item to complete the dungeon, they give you most of the tools that you'll need to solve any of the puzzles in the game within the first hour. And
eventually go straight to Ganon and kill him, potentially right away. I mean, it would be insanely difficult, but
once you have these
like,
things,
the game
yeah,
lets you go wherever you want to go. And if you're not strong enough,
Scale.
that's a different matter. But like you can go anywhere, is my understanding, pretty much.
yep.
Got
Yeah,
some Dark Souls stuff going on in that regard. Like exploration, and it's a deadly world. You can go wherever you want to go. Just
See, I think
it's
that
gonna
might be
tough.
overwhelming for me.
at times it is, but the part of it that keeps me grounded in is that I'm fully in control of what I want to do. If I just put my nose to it and say no, I'm going to do the main quest, I'm going to force myself to just stay on a path and go there, you can absolutely do that. But for me, I just get sidetracked with everything. I'm just exploring right now. I'm the coolest part of it for me is that there isn't a time where I feel like, oh, I can't do that yet. It's, I wonder how I can figure out how to do that. Like in
Yeah.
the game,
Or I wonder what this cave has, or I wonder what the other side of this mountain is, or
now.
like I climbed up just before we started. I climbed up like a cliff, and there was a rock, and I climbed on top of the rock, and it came to life and killed me 3 times.
yes.
Now,
Yes.
are you building your map as you go? Like, are you putting your own icons on the map?
You can, yeah.
Yeah.
So
You
one
can
of
pin the map with different things.
the only things, so you unlock these towers, and those become your Ubisoft waypoints. Like you have to scale this tower,
Assassin's
activate
Creed
it.
your way up there.
Right, but unlike those games where all of a sudden doing that would unlock 7 different fast travel points and that sort of thing,
That
the tower
adds up.
itself is a fast travel point, and all the shrines that you find become fast travel points. And there's about 100 or so of those, but that requires you to actually go unlock those.
Yeah, go get them. They don't
Other-
tell you where they're at. You get like a little beeper that lets you know that you're close to one, but all that waypoint does is give you the map, like show you where the trails are and what you're looking at.
Yeah, as far as like if you find something cool, like say there's say you find where you think one of the little Korok guys might be hidden, but you don't really know how to solve the puzzle yet, you can open up your map and throw a stamp down. They call them stamps. There's different icons that you can choose from to mark your map to remind you, like, okay, there's something here, when I come back to this area, that's where there is a thing. But there's nothing formal that unlocks that for you. You have to do it yourself.
I don't know if they'll show it in the video, but from what I'd heard, like if it's raining and there's lightning out, if you've got metal shit on your back, like if you've got a metal sword strapped to your back, you'll get hit by lightning and killed.
I believe it.
Yep.
What's
The
that?
environment kills you in this game.
Not only that, but surfaces that you could normally scale during the day or during regular weather become slippery, and you can only climb on them for a couple seconds and then you slip off.
That's right.
When it's raining out, yeah. If you go somewhere super hot, you will start losing life if you don't have light enough clothes and that sort of thing. If you go somewhere super cold, there's different ways that you can address that, like through food or through a torch or campfires or clothing, but you'll absolutely die if you stay in the cold too long. and it's not long either. Like, you start the game with 3
Yeah,
hearts,
it's pretty
and
quick.
I want to say, like, within about 30 seconds, my Link was not doing so well in the cold.
You take some serious cold damage.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at right now. I have to craft up those spicy peppers to get through the cold.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Toss some mushrooms and peppers and a couple of herbs, and you're good for 8 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Vito pizza.
Had a boy.
So that's been my favorite part of this so far. So Luke, you're about to go through the cold, and you're gonna cook up some peppers, and that's gonna get you through it, right?
Yep.
I was playing today and found that there's a way to get a warm doublet, some warm clothing, and I decided to go that route and find that piece of clothing instead of going and crafting a bunch of food or whatever.
It's like don't start.
Yes.
Get some beef alone.
Exactly. But there's so many different ways to solve all the different problems. Like that, the game is all about telling you, yes, go figure that out. Find your own way to do this, and I can't find a way to break it. Like it just allows you to get away with so much stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, the first thing I did in this game, Tyler, after going out of the cave, which was a real cool experience because there was no title screen to get you into the game. It literally starts as you wake up, which I thought was just a really cool transition.
Yeah.
You hit start on the game, no new game, continue, settings option. You literally just go right into it, which is awesome.
Yep.
When I go inside the cave, it does that spanning view across, and then I look over and I see a tree. I'm like, I wonder, can I? Sure enough, climb to the top of the tree.
Yep.
I was like, I can climb trees in this game? That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Where I was reading this review, I can't remember. I think it was from Polygon, I want to say. They said that Zelda in the past, since A Link to the Past has been as much about what you can't do as what you can, and this game is the opposite. It's constantly telling you, yes, you can do that, yes, you can do this, yes, you can do whatever you want within these rules, and that's been the most exciting part of it for me. Like you said, Luke, I did the same kind of thing. Like I knew you could climb trees, but I saw these apples hanging from the trees. I'm like, I wonder if I can just jump and grab one. Yes.
Yeah, you can. I did that too.
Yep.
I was like, I wonder if I just shoot one of the apples out of the tree, if it actually falls down. It does. Like, there's been a bunch of times where I'm like, this is made of wood. I wonder if that'll catch fire if I throw that near the fire. Yes, it
Sure does.
Like I chucked a barrel at a bunch of moblins that were around this campfire, and it didn't take long. The barrel caught fire and then exploded and killed all of them. And it was like, okay, this is perfect. Like I understand why people are giving it such glowing reviews, because I don't see how I could get tired of this. I haven't even talked about the paraglider yet either, which is also just a total joy once
so
you
great.
unlock that. Like, you just find a high point somewhere, jump off,
just
open up
jump.
your little glider, and sail over to wherever you want to go, as long as your
Is it that
stamina
thing
meter
that
will
looks
last.
like a rug over top of your head?
It's like a little hang glider. Yeah, it's like made of wood and a canvas, and he just pops it out, and your stamina meter slowly depletes while you're doing it, so you can't do it forever. But it's one of those things where in any other medium, in a movie or something, I would think this is really silly and dumb, but it just works perfectly in Zelda. Like, climb
it's
to the
great.
top of a mountain, run off, jump, paraglide off of it, shield surf my way down the mountain like Legolas in Lord of the Rings, pull out my bow and arrow and kill 2 goblins, and then pick up their swords and throw them at another guy. Like it's ridiculous, but it's done perfectly in this game.
I want to know when they're gonna make a Zelda game where Zelda's like the kick-ass one.
Maybe a spin-off would be the best.
Yeah.
Super Smash Brothers.
I haven't met Zelda yet, but she shows up as a main character, it seems like, in some of the promotional stuff that we've seen. It seems like she's got a much bigger role. There's voice acting in this one for the
Which
first
is
time
so
ever.
weird. Like the mouth actually lines up with the words that are coming out, and you're like, this is not Zelda, but it
It's
is.
been voice acting for a
There's
while.
no, hey, listen.
Link just goes, huh? Ah! Ah!
Have any of you guys run into Beetle yet?
Yeah. Yeah, he
Beetle's
doesn't have
great.
he doesn't have the same lines though.
No, he doesn't give that. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I missed that somehow.
Tyler, you and I were talking about Legend of Zelda from NES the other day,
Yes.
about how you tried that in a browser, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
And you were stuck because you couldn't find the second dungeon, I believe.
Correct.
And I was like, dude, like, you literally had a browser right in front of you. Why didn't you just Google it?
Yeah.
And you're like, well, no, I kind of wanted to replay the whole, like, childhood thing where you didn't have access to that. You had to figure it out yourself.
Yes.
That's what this game does, too.
Yeah.
It
Big
doesn't
time.
tell you anything. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, yep, here's your magnet. You can do stuff with it. That's it.
Figure
It
it out.
doesn't say, hey, you should use it on this thing on the floor to, uncover a ladder that you can climb down. It just says, here it is, you can move stuff. Have at it.
I was watching Kring play, and we're coming up with totally different ways to solve these shrines that we're going into. Like you mentioned the magnet thing. There's at one point where you first get that ability. One of the little guardian guys, the little spidery looking robot guys, comes out and starts shooting you. He took the magnet and moved one of the blocks in front of it, so the explosion would, like the splash damage from the explosion, he put a block right in front of it so it would shoot that, and then it wound up killing itself. Like,
I saw in the video that the other guy dropped the block on top of the spider thing to kill it.
Yeah, you're
That's
just
what I did.
smashing it with a block. Yeah.
And then here I am, or the brute that goes in with the wood axe, and I just chopped it to pieces.
Yeah, I broke like 3 weapons just beating the shit out of it, face to face, and I was like, oh wow, that was a hard way to do that instead of just using the environment. Kring uses bombs for everything. It's hilarious. Like, you'll find an area where the enemies can't shoot him, like they'll be shooting a wall or whatever, and then
And
he'll
just roll bombs down.
just-
bomb,
just-
bomb, 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 bomb. Well, imagine a
Speaking
Zelda
of
game with
Kring.
unlimited bombs. It's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
Happy birthday, Kring. Thanks for not
Yes.
showing up.
Yeah, yep. I'll try to convey some of his experiences here for him because I got to see him firsthand. But yeah, let's talk about that for a minute too. So I went over and hung out at his house, and he's got his Switch on the TV, right? And he's playing on the big screen. I've got mine in my hands. We're both playing Zelda, and like I'm just glancing over and once in a while. I'm like, oh, we're in the exact same spot. Like we just happened to find our way to the same random place on the map. And there's times where I look over and he's solving a puzzle that I didn't know was there. And I'm like, oh, cool. That's what that whole configuration was. And then I'll see him run past something that I found. I'll be like, oh wait, no, go back. You missed a chest over there. You just got to go around that one corner. And it's so cool to see all these things like unfolding for different people. I imagine we're gonna have very different playthroughs and finish this game at very different points in our play here. And that's going to be really cool to see. Kring also managed to make Link look like a girl.
Shocker.
As he does.
There is a chic outfit that you can buy at
Yeah.
one of those stores, and it basically turns Link into like this ninja-looking chick. He puts his hair up in like a little ponytail with a chopstick through it. I don't know how else to describe it, and looks like a badass ninja chick now. So
Was that at the one shop in Kakariko Village with the
Yes.
really like flighty chick that tries to pick Link up?
yes, that's the
Gotcha.
one, the very same. At one point, you get a bandana, and I had asked Kring to see if he could put the bandana on with the Nintendo Switch T-shirt and just see if it would make my head explode, and it did. Looks real stupid.
Thud.
Brian asked me to dock points off of my review for that. I don't think I can because the rest of the game is that good. But
Do you guys have any complaints about the game so far?
I have one complaint, and it's probably me just being like lame about it getting too hard or annoying. But like my weapons suck all the time. They're constantly breaking.
Yes.
Just give me my
Weapons
damn
break
Master Sword.
real quick.
It's in like even the ones that are like, oh yeah, this is a great freaking sword. I'll kill maybe 4 of the goblins and it's dead. I gotta go get another one, or I'm hitting them with. I gotta kill one, steal its little club, and beat the rest of them up with the club. that's getting kind of frustrating because I'm used to Link always having a sword and it never breaks.
You're used to like finding something cool and then going, oh, this is part of my arsenal now, and now I can't get attached to anything.
Don't get attached.
Because
Don't get attached.
yeah, I'll kill 5 enemies and then my cool soldier's claymore is gone. And I gotta use a fucking stick.
Not a big
Yeah, I figured
fan
you'd
of
be
that.
into that big two-hander there.
But one of the things I've noticed is, so if you collect those little seeds, the Korok seeds, you can take them to a guy near Kakariko Village, and well, it's not
The
a guy.
maracas.
Yeah, the maracas guy, and you can upgrade your storage through him.
I've
That
only
is
gotten
something
one
I need
seed
to.
so far.
I've gotten quite a few. You got to keep your eyes peeled. They seem to be hidden in like I don't know how to describe it. They're like little nature puzzles. Like if you see a random rock that's just kind of in the middle of nowhere for no reason, pick it up because it might have a Korok underneath of it.
The one that I found was it was like in a little pond, still on the plateau, and it's
Yes.
hooked to a chain, and you got to put it in the thing, and then what's his name? The little wood guy from Ocarina of Time jumps out and gives you a Korok seed.
Yeah, little Korok guys. Yeah. So they're usually in places like that. Like I found a circle of stones. It was just like, a big circle, and it was missing one. So I went and found another stone, carried it back over, popped it in place to complete the circle. Korok popped out. Like they just seem to be hidden in like these weird little mini puzzles. If you see like a bunch of statues and they have offerings in front of them and one of them's missing, if you throw like an apple or something in there, that'll usually pop one out too. So if you keep your eyes peeled for those little scenery puzzles.
There's one as you're walking into Kakariko, like it's got the little Sheikah like eyes at the top of the gates. If you shoot it with your arrow, it'll pop one out too.
Nice. See, I totally missed that one.
There's like little tiny details.
Feels to me like the Zelda games have gotten very stale
Yes.
since Wind Waker. Wind Waker feels like the last, I don't know, big leap in innovation, maybe. Because Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword both felt pretty lackluster. I mean, they're good games, but
If you take into account A Link Between Worlds for the DS, it wasn't super innovative, but it added one big piece where you can go into a wall and walk through the landscape there. That was pretty cool. And that game was like Link to the Past and added in something really cool.
I think Link to the Past was kind of they also did something huge where you don't get weapons from dungeons, or you don't get items from dungeons. There's a shop that you rent or purchase them from, and that dictates,
things aren't gated.
What do you mean Link Between Worlds?
Yeah, I mean Link Between Worlds, yeah.
You rent it from the weird bunny looking guy?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
if you want to go do the bomb dungeon, you have to go rent the bombs first or
Correct.
buy them. This takes that a step further and just says those items are gone. It's these abilities now that you have through the Sheikah slate, and go out into the world. There's no
Yeah, I
more
dig those
hookshot.
runes a lot. Sometimes I'll be in a big landscape and I'll toss the magnesis one. I'll just toss it out and see if anything's able to be magneted, and I'm like, okay, well, this might be a thing, and I'll throw stuff around, and sometimes cool stuff happens, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. What were you trying to say, Brian? Sorry.
It feels like this game has borrowed an awful lot from other successful game franchises over the last 10 years or so. Like, it feels a little bit like Blizzard, where it's like, no, this isn't our own unique ideas, but we've just taken existing stuff and then just done it really, really, really well. It feels a little bit like that.
Yeah, I think you are pretty spot on with that, because there's been a couple times where I'm like, oh, this feels like this game, but just a little bit cooler for me.
They've done some really really unique stuff. Like I'm with you guys in the idea that the weapons breaking isn't the best, but I'm still it makes looting everything more exciting, because there's a chance that I might get that thing that I really like again. Like I opened a chest and it had something called a giant boomerang in it. The boomerangs in this game can be used like melee weapons. Some of them are like bladed weapons, like a sword, and the giant boomerang is a big two-handed one. And so it's basically a two-handed sword that I can also chuck and throw at people, and it'll fly back to me. I can catch it and do it again.
Can you explain the physics behind that?
no, I can't.
No.
And
One thing that it
and I
does
don't care
kind
at all.
of do to the game, though, is it makes you feel like you're in a scrappy fight for your life.
Yeah.
Like, your club gets damaged, so you chuck it at the next guy, and you go pick up fallen enemies, sword, and start using that until that one breaks. You pick up the next guy's. It's kind of a cool, different feeling to it.
There's been a couple of fights where I've been rendered to using like I can't remember what the enemies are called, but they're like skeletons that pop out of the ground and their arms will fall off. And I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna use that as the guy to beat down, or the thing to beat down this guy with.
The bokoblins or whatever. Yeah.
Did you notice that it like moves on your back still? It's still alive.
I didn't notice that. That's funny.
the hand's still alive from the skeleton.
The skeleton hand that you can beat them with. And I noticed another cool thing. So if you kill a couple of those dudes, the skeletons all bust apart, right? All their bones go flying. Their skull lands on the ground and starts like chomping around trying to get back to its body. They'll use each other's parts, like like if there's a body from one that you've like you've killed the head but the body's still running around, it'll run and grab one of the other heads and pop it on, or it'll grab the arm of that one and start swinging at you with one of its friend's arms. Like they're awesome. I love playing around with the skeletons. I'll just chuck a bomb into the middle of them and watch all the parts go everywhere, and then see how they try to like fit them back together. It's really good. But yeah, look, it reminds me of like an action movie or something. Like when you're in combat and a weapon breaks, you're like, oh shit, okay. You gotta either grab something out of your pack or find something that's on the ground, and every fight feels hard. The only complaint I have is that I cannot adjust to these controls. Like, it's something breaks every time it gets real hairy, and I just forget what buttons do what. I wind up using my slate abilities when I mean to draw my bow or my shield or whatever. I wind up like, jumping when I mean to sprint, and just things like that. It's such a weird configuration
They throw
for the button
a
layout.
lot of buttons at you, though.
Yeah, all I wish is that I could
because of all the hot swapping you can do.
All I wish is that I could just map them. Just please put an update out that lets me map the buttons wherever I want, just like on PC, and I'll be straight. It'll be fine. But and relabel them. If I could just relabel what each one is too, then I'd be good to go.
Take the controller apart and just move the buttons around.
That's not a bad idea.
It is a bad idea because it's an $80 controller.
That's true. You're not wrong. But yeah, I can't say enough good things about it.
I don't really have any complaints about it. Some of the graphics are okay at times.
The
like
resolution,
some real like anti-aliasing that needs to happen into it. Some things are missing some detail that I would like to see, but it's got a cool art style to it at least.
It's one thing Nintendo does really well is, even though they're not putting very high resolution textures in here, their art style helps it a lot, so it's gonna hold up. There's been countless times where I think the game just looks gorgeous, and I forget that it's underpowered in any way whatsoever. Like all of the physics engine that they put into this game is
physics
really
are really
impressive.
good.
Yeah, the way the hair moves, the way clothing moves, the sound design of like when you've got a shield on your back and other stuff, you can hear the metal clanking and the shield kind of clanking together. And that's something we didn't talk about. There's like hardly any music, and when the music's there, it is really good. But when you're just riding around the world, there's no triumphant overworld theme playing. It's nature is what you hear.
Yeah, I was walking to the first little shrine thing, and I could just hear like the wind going through the grass and stuff. I was like, that's pretty good, pretty immersive.
I said these words earlier today, and I didn't think I'd ever say them, but it out Skyrim's Skyrim. Like, it does what I love about Skyrim better. That's really saying something.
When was it, Tyler? Like 4 years ago? You and I were working together, and we said, man, how awesome would it be just to have an open world Legend of Zelda like Skyrim?
Yep.
And here we are.
And here we are. It happened.
That's ultimately what what enforced this purchase for me. It was
that conversation talking about that again is what planted that seed for me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh yeah, we talked about that and how awesome it would be.
I was very skeptical of this game when I first heard about it, and until like last week when we started seeing gameplay and we started seeing reviews and first looks and stuff come in. Brian, you linked that thing from Giant Bomb, and I watched that. It was really, really well done, and same thing we're saying. Nobody has anything terrible to say about it. It's all glowing.
Yeah, but it tastes really bad.
90 hours, and you're still, like seeing things that surprised him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I if they've got more of this up their sleeves, I'm not going to be disappointed with the Switch. If they've got more Zelda games in the same vein, and if Mario is as good as it looks, if they can come out with more first-party stuff every year, this will be the best console I've bought in a very long time.
Doesn't have a lot of competition there, though, does it? For you?
I love
Or
my
me.
Xbox 360. I got a lot of use out
Do
of
you
that.
though?
I loved.
Oh,
I said,
yeah. What about
Do
the
you?
Xbox One?
the Xbox One has been a just overwhelming disappointment.
Same here.
It plays
My
Netflix
tasty
really well,
game.
doesn't it?
Yeah, I saw someone in our group shared that image. It was like, it was the PS4 Horizon Zero Dawn. It was Nintendo Switch Breath of the Wild. It was Xbox One Netflix.
Netflix.
It's true.
I
Like,
played my PS4 more like in the 2 weeks I've owned it than I have in the entire year that I own the Xbox One. There aren't any games I want to play for it. I did not do my homework.
well,
Yeah, my Xbox One just sits there. It collects dust, and unless one of my friends that plays NHL wants to play, I don't do anything with it.
To be fair, the indie games that were more prevalent on the 360, like there was quite a bit that were part of the XBL arcade or whatever it was called, XBLA. They're now on Steam. That used to be a thing that was kind of exclusive to the Xbox platform. A lot of those games come to PlayStation now too. Like they've let a lot of these exclusives get away from them and get snatched up by Sony or someone else. So yeah, sorry,
and,
Xbox.
Just to finish my GameStop story from last week, I got Dragon Quest Builders.
Nice. They came through, huh?
Yep, the guy called me and said, "Hey, we got a copy in. Come down and get it."
Sweet. A happy ending.
Yep.
Well, cool. I think that's gonna do it for the games that we've played. We got some news. So I'll talk about some news.
Let's have some news.
Brian, you fetched these articles. I'm gonna let you lead the carriage on this one because I didn't do my homework. What's this first one about?
Well, first one, Peter Moore leaving EA.
That's big.
Peter Moore's been a pretty big player in the video game world for a lot of years. He was heading the EA's sports division. For a while, I think
in
he
the
was
game.
with E. I think he was with Sega for the Dreamcast times. No, maybe.
I don't know.
He's going to become a CEO of the Liverpool Football Club,
Huh.
which I assume is probably a passion for him. I would have to guess.
He's not just gonna walk it in, is he?
Ludicrous display. I'm sure it's a new, it's a new challenge for him. It's a different world. I have no idea if he'll be successful or not, but he's one of video games big players. He's been one of the head guys over at Microsoft for a long while for all the Xbox stuff. So,
Well, coming from somebody who thinks that the EA Sports franchises are largely garbage, I wish him well. Hopefully he has fun.
to be fair, Tyler, you don't like sports or sports games.
You're right.
It's not that they're badly made or bad games. They're just an example of a thing you don't care about. That's like me saying, "Oh,
Yeah.
Forza games are shit." Well,
I
they're
didn't
shit because I'm not interested in racing.
Did I say they were shit? I just said, yeah, I did
What
say I
did you
think they
say?
were. I said I thought
Garbage.
they were garbage. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
That's
not
not the
fair.
shit.
You're right. I take it back. I'm sorry, EA Sports. I don't mean it. You're not garbage. The thing that you're mimicking is garbage.
There you go.
You're well made. You're well made. I'm sure. Well, cool.
And maybe they are, maybe they're not.
I'm sure that they make a lot of money. That's a thing we can be sure of. That we can agree on.
That's confirmed.
They're an annual thing. There are a lot of people that own consoles just to play sports games and shooters. Madden and Call of Duty.
What more do you need?
I would have loved to see, and I take it back. I actually liked the what's the hockey one, Vito? Is it just called NHL? Is that the series?
NHL, yeah. And
Yeah.
then just whatever year it is.
Yeah. I guess I was into that for a little while. I was always a big advocate for, like, can we just get like a series of games that lasts for 4 or 5 years and just do incremental updates instead of having to create a whole new $60 game every year.
New rosters, new features. Can you name 3 NHL teams that are not the Detroit Red Wings?
I can. I could name the Chicago Blackhawks, the Toronto Maple Leafs,
Regional rivals.
Calgary Flames, the
We play them. right.
Colorado Avalanche, Dallas Stars,
Port Huron Border Cats.
the Capitals, the Penguins. Come on. I know a little bit about hockey.
That's enough to know that Jimmy Howard sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this what you could find for a picture of Peter Moore?
It's what I wanted to find for a picture of Peter Moore. For our audio listeners, South Park did an episode with EA, and they managed to get a pretty good likeness of him here, so. There you go.
On to the next thing on the docket.
Sure,
Xbox is going to have a monthly subscription service called Xbox Game Pass, which gives people access to over 100 games. They haven't announced. I think it's going to change month by month. It sounds like it's in some ways similar to the PlayStation Now service, I think it's called. But PlayStation Now streams the games over the internet, and this is like you downloading the games to your system,
So this
which
seems
is
like
a mixture.
So this is like an add-on to the existing Xbox Live Gold subscription,
Yep.
where you use that to get a free game or whatever every month. This is, you pay a subscription and you gain access to a whole library of games.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So not streaming them means if you got a data cap, might be eating up that data cap with downloads. But I've never used the PlayStation Now service. I don't know, streaming games online, I think I'd always be squinting and looking like, is this running okay? Is this, is my internet okay? I
Right.
don't know.
They've
gotta-
gotten better technology and improved a lot of that stuff, but I'm with you, Brian. I would be constantly worried about all that kind of thing where Xbox seems to be doing something a little bit more appealing. I want to just download the game. I just want to install the ones that I want to play and, uninstall them when I'm done. And yeah. If hard drive space is a concern for you, though, I could see the streaming thing being, a little more appealing. You can have a small hard drive and still play as many games as you want, but
Yep, it says it'll include Xbox One and backwards compatible 360 games. For a short list of things at launch, it says Halo 5 Guardians, Payday 2, NBA 2K16, and Soul Calibur 2.
it's hard for me to knock this. They need to do something, right? I mean, Xbox right now has kind of they've done what we've been asking them to do, where they're leveraging the fact that they have a platform with Windows 10 that can run these games, and there's no reason why something that's developed for the Xbox couldn't be on Windows as well. So they're doing that now, but I think it's also kind of maybe hurting them, the fact that I can just pick up Gears of War for PC and play it there, and I don't ever have to touch my Xbox.
Right.
Yeah, it's effectively none of their stuff is exclusive. All of their new games are going to be coming out for this cross-play system that they have, where you can play it anywhere on PC or on your Xbox. So
Yeah.
I guess we'll see. I hope it goes well for them. I hope that that's profitable, because I want companies to continue doing things like that. I'd love Sony to have something in that same vein, you know. But,
Yeah, this service seems like a good, like a good deal if you're looking for games to play and don't mind the extra monthly fee. It all depends on what games they include, but it's a good idea. Games that maybe aren't selling well, or their prime's behind them. Get a little more mileage out of them.
Does it say how much it's going to cost?
$10 a month.
$10. It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. I want to say PlayStation Now is $20 a month. I could be wrong.
sounds about right. That includes some TV streaming service, though, too, doesn't it?
You could be right. It includes a lot of, that's their answer for backwards compatibility. Instead of having PS3 discs, it's just you can pay for this service. I wish it would just read the discs, but I'm a grumpy old man.
Yeah, it's okay.
Get off my lawn.
Yeah.
So, in keeping with other potential revenue sources, Twitch is going to start allowing people to buy games straight from a stream and share the revenue with the streamer.
All right, Twitch is going to be selling games.
Yeah. So that's different. That's new.
Amazon is selling games.
Yep.
Yeah, well, Amazon owns Twitch, so it's... You can cut that pie however you want, Luke. It's all going in the same belly.
That's what I'm saying.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it's a good move on Amazon's part, because now they're selling from Amazon.com on Twitch.
Well,
I'm not sure I like people having ulterior motives to stream certain games, or to, hey, this game's really great. Click down there and buy it, and I'll make a few bucks. It probably won't be a problem, but I don't like giving people other motives other than, this is a game I want to play, or I'm trying to entertain an audience.
Most streamers are really good about that. Really, they don't, push a lot of the stuff. They're really appreciative and grateful for any of the subs that they get.
I imagine the ones that aren't good about that aren't gonna make it.
They wouldn't last long. Yeah, you're right.
I think the ideal situation is kind of like what happened with you, Luke. Like, you watched Witwix play Breath of the Wild all day. You got to the point of okay, I'm sold. Like, if he's the one that sold you on it, right? Like, it'd be cool to be able to just say, "Cool, I'm gonna buy that right now."
Yeah, if I could have clicked a button on his page and it would just took me to a cart to load up a Switch, add on a Zelda, and have it at my house next day. Dude,
you're paying the same price and giving him $1.
And I don't have to put pants on to go out to Best Buy to do it? Come on.
The way we consume games and media is so different now.
When you went to Best Buy?
You don't watch quick looks or read reviews. You just watch someone play the game on Twitch. That's how you review games, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what convinced me to get No Man's Sky. I was so on the fence about it, and I saw the people play it, and I was like, you know what? I know there's a lot of drama about it, but it looks like something I would enjoy.
Yep.
And I don't regret it.
Vito, what'd you say about Best Buy?
Oh, Luke said the best part about that whole thing is he wouldn't have to put pants on to go to Best Buy. And I said, you wear pants when you go to Best Buy?
He did. I can confirm.
I did.
Luke not only put on pants and went to Best Buy, he drove all the way to the Port Huron Best Buy, because that was a place he was sure he could get a ticket reserved for him. So.
Dude, and that drive sucks.
Yeah, through the snow, icy roads.
Snowing on the way there, and just a sheet of ice on the way back. There was 5 cars in the ditch.
Holy crap.
On my way.
For our listeners.
Yeah, for you, dear audience.
Yep.
Greatest podcast in the Eastern Michigan thumb region.
Nailed it.
Number 1.
Well, I think that's going to do it for us this week, guys. What do you say? You got any parting thoughts? Anything you want to get off your chest before we bounce on out of here?
I'm envious of the Zelda. play you guys got going on the Switch. I think in the long term, I think a PS4 is probably better for me. But I wish I was playing Zelda. But Horizon Zero Dawn's an awfully damn good consolation prize.
And I wish I was playing Final Fantasy 15. So
Yeah.
maybe in like a month or two we'll just switch consoles.
Done.
Yeah, there's not anything I can say to really ease your jealousy there, Brian. Zelda's phenomenal, and I just hope you can play it someday. I don't know.
I'll get one sooner or later. I've got games that I'm really into and excited to play right now, so I really can't complain.
And we'll keep you. We'll obviously keep everyone posted on how the Switch develops. I read another opinion piece that was basically like anyone that's buying a Switch right now, all of us, we're beta testing it. It's not done.
A new console.
It's a new console. There's a lot of stuff that all of them go through, but this in particular, the one thing that is concerning is Nintendo's silence around a lot of this stuff. We know nothing about what their plans are for the Virtual Console, other than it should be coming. We know nothing about their plans for any additional media or anything like that. That's all unknown.
And there are lots of reports of the left Joy-Con losing connectivity with the console for seconds at a time, and they haven't said anything at all. They haven't. I got to think if that was an easy fix, like a firmware update or something, they would have taken care of it, or at least said we're going to take care of it. Like, that's a little concerning.
Well, it came out 24 hours and 10 minutes ago officially.
Yeah, but it's
so. I mean, I don't expect them to say anything official until a few days after the actual release. It's still real early into all this. I'm okay with giving them time.
It's something that we're growing to expect, though, from these companies. Like, we've got coverage, round-the-clock coverage on this stuff all the time. There's tons of people now with access to it, streaming on Twitch. Like, they know about these problems. They can't just stick their head in the sand and pretend it isn't happening and not address it. Like, I just need somebody to say, like, oh, yep, thanks for the report. Hey, we're looking into that. We'll make a statement once we've got some more data, whatever. That would be enough. And
it seems to be specifically like if someone breaks the line of sight between, the base and the left Joy-Con, that seems to be something that triggers it.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully they can get better with the transparency and communication side of it. And if they can, I think we're all in for a pretty great treat here. So far, I'm loving mine, so no regrets yet. We'll see, though. We shall see.
I'm starting a fun.
Yeah, 24 hours in, so far so good.
Yeah. We'll give it some time before we grill them too hard about these things, I guess.
Stay tuned next week. Then we'll see what our real opinion is of this after the honeymoon period is kind of gone away.
Sounds like a plan, Luke.
Solid plug.
Oh, you know what? We didn't talk about 1-2 Switch.
Oh. Do a video for that? Should we throw it out?
I have a friend on Facebook who has evidence that he picked it up. He spent money on it. So there's a market for it somewhere out there, I guess.
What about Just Dance 2017? I saw that was released.
Yeah, it was pretty hilarious being in the Best Buy and having the associates walk down the aisle try to like offer all of the other games. And everyone's just like, no, Zelda.
No, give me Zelda and just get away from me.
Oh, Just Dance, anybody? Bomberman, 1-2 Switch?
You want the car charger? No. No, I don't want a $20 car charger.
But Norton Antivirus.
Oh, man. All right. Well, thanks for being here, everybody. You can find the show at questlogcast.com. You can email us, mail@questlogcast.com, right? Is that how email works?
.org. Isn't it .org?
.org.
That is.
Follow us on Twitter at questlogcast, twitch.tv/questlogcast. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud. Stream it right from our website, wherever. I'm running blanks here. Guys, tune in next week. We're going to have more Switch coverage. We're going to have more Zelda. We're going to have more video games. Aaron Kring might be back. Who knows?
And hopefully we'll have a little bit more sleep.
A little more sleep, a little more rest.
I think we're all running on a few hours.
Yeah. Thanks everybody who checked us out. Thanks to Visager for the intro and outro music. And we will catch you guys later. Farewell.
See you next time.